There's a question here.
You mentioned the water situation, and I wonder how sustainable you think it is with declining amount of fresh water. I mean, do you think that's going to cause the area to be abandoned eventually?
Did everyone hear the question?
Apparently, there are things that can be done about the water situation. And I met with an Israeli the president of the Ben Gurion University, actually, and I was telling him about the water problem and how it's the most important problem and so on. And he said, no, not at all, because there are ways in which to solve the water problem. There are several things the government can do to solve the water problem. But for some reason, the government is not doing any of them, or if doing any of them, rather reluctantly. And so it seems that there is politicization of the water problem to a large extent, because one of the arguments for keeping the occupied territories, which Israeli government uses, is that the aquifers, underground aquifers, are many of them in the area of the occupied territory, or at least one important one is shared between the two areas. And they say, how can we give up the territory which has all the water aquifers underneath and therefore deprive Israel of water? So there is a political incentive for not attempting to resolve the water problem. But I think this year, for example, there was great shortages of water because it was a very dry year, and because of over pumping, the aquifers themselves are becoming polluted. So it's getting compounded, and I think there's, like with many other areas, Israel has a very short-term view of things. I mean, the most important thing is its short-term view of the future, because it's a country living in an area of Arabs and Muslims and making very little attempt to befriend its neighbors. And its short-term view is that now it is strong, it has America, the United States behind it, and therefore that is enough. It's not going to be enough it's not going to be enough.
You mentioned just in passing a settler road built with American money. Is this American government money, or is it private money? If it's private money, is it with American support? It was just an aside comment by you, but are you saying the American government's actually there supporting the building of the settler roads?
What I learned is it's private Jewish money from the United States. But the interesting thing is that it's an illegal settlement in terms of the Israeli structure of legality. And this is something that is more of this is happening, because of course, under international law, settlements and transfer of the population of the occupying power into the occupied territory is illegal. And for obvious reasons, because you don't want to reward an occupier. And so all the settlements, with everything that's done by for the settlements, is illegal. And any money going for building the settlements, whether private or governmental, is illegal. However, Israel devised a framework of legality under its rules and laws and so on, and distorted the Palestinian law to enable the takeover of land and the building of settlements and the application of Israeli law on the settlers, even though they're living outside of Israel. So all of this was done. However, in recent years, and actually not only in recent years, but all along, there have been settlers who are more zealot than their own government, which supports settlements, and build settlements illegally, even under the framework of the Israeli government. And now the figures that are coming out from groups like Peace Now, 40% of all the settlements are illegal by Israeli terms. And a huge percentage of the land has been taken without reference to the Israeli structure of legality. At the same time, the army is becoming an army of settlers. So all of this is making the question of how will they ever be able to leave the settlements or make a political deal that involves the settlements in any form, whether that is going to be feasible at all. And that, I think, if I were an Israeli, I would be very worried that people are breaking the law with impunity.
You mentioned water supplies to the settlements. What about the effluent from the settlements?
The settlements get water from the central water facility, Makarot, and they are not connected, of course, to for their effluents to any system, and so very often they throw it over Palestinian land. And we've had several walks in which, from a distance, you see a stream, and from a distance it looks like a proper stream, and you think, how strange, we don't remember there was a stream here, and of course it's all sewage.